All right, we are live again with another episode of the Real Estate Growth Secrets podcast, where I, John Garuti, interview top realtors from around the country. And today we have an exceptional guest hailing from St. Louis, Missouri, Susie Johnson. Susie, how are you doing today?
Good, John. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome, all things considered.
Yeah.
Pleasure to have you on the show. But, I always like to get these episodes rolling with the humble brag. So please introduce yourself and brag about your accomplishments, but do it in a humble manner.
I will. Thank you. I started in the business in 97. I was at the point where I had been fortunate enough to be a stay-home mom, had two girls, and time for college and weddings and figuring out how we were going to afford that. So I had a sister in real estate, and she told me that I was a perfect candidate to do it. So she recommended I try it, which I did. And that time I was really not very business savvy as far as real estate. We bought and sold, so I knew that much. But once I got in it, I decided that I was going to just work really hard and set it up as a business. So I actually invested in it to pay for advertising and marketing and that kind of thing. And as I went along, I really decided that I would set up a team, but it was on a as needed basis. I hired a part-time person just to do closings because I hate paperwork, which actually ended up to be my one of the best things I've ever done. I started with a part-time, a full-time, then two full-times, and now our team has expanded. And last year we did 50 million with 171 units, but we've been in the top 10. We've been in the top 5 of the company, which back in the day was 3,500 agents. We now have 1,500 agents, and we've averaged over 100 units since 2006, 7, somewhere in there, and pretty much consistently have sold a lot of houses. So it's a fun business. I love the people part of it. I love the challenge of the market changing and trying to stay ahead of it. So we've had a good time doing it. I have really good team members on my team, one of which is my daughter, who's been with me ever since she graduated from college, and she's 37 now with 3 grandkids. She doesn't have grandkids, I do.
Awesome. We were talking about this earlier, how you've gone the route of building a solid team, which not everybody in real estate likes to do. The last guest I had on the show, she's flipping 70 units all on her own, and she prefers it that way. But what value did you see in building a team right from the get-go? And what secrets can you share about building a strong team? Because I know also a few of your team members have been with you for 10 plus years, which also is not so common with a lot of real estate teams.
Well, when I started, like I said, I hate paperwork. So I would have more of a meltdown on a copy machine than a crazy client. So I would take on the clients, the problem solving, and try to get organized with the team. In the meantime, I had staff that would help me. But the main thing, I was doing that before anybody even had teams. Back in the day, everybody was kind of hesitant to give up their paycheck. We're all on commission. How do I do that? How do I commit to another person? And I knew that I just had a goal of the, college and wedding. So if it didn't work out, I'd figure something else out. But it actually just skyrocketed. And as I went through with the market, I kind of was good at reading the market as it went. So initially, I got myself set up. In the beginning, I was always trying to reinvent the wheel and coming up with a new listing presentation. And then finally, we got so busy, I was just like, set it up and get your systems in place and let it roll. And that's been my, one of the best things I have. But the team that I've chosen, we had some people that didn't work out over time, but overall, I have some really longevity on my team, 15 years, 13 years, 16 years, I believe. So the people that are team members and are really comfortable with the family atmosphere of a team, we've really thrived, and everybody benefits. We all work with each other. So if somebody's going to be out of town, you don't have to worry that your client is going to be going off calling another agent. You just pay a team member to go and cover for you. And when you get back, you're back in the game. So I really think the biggest thing about a team is balance. I have balance with family. I have balance with my business. I have a fresh outlook with the clients on a regular basis. I have time to step back and work on the business rather than killing myself working in the business. So that's my takeaway for having a team. I feel like it really does help me to have a good balance with life and family.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that balance is just so needed nowadays, right? Because we have so much pressures coming from every which angle. I mean, that hasn't changed over time, right? But finding that niche where you can really just be happy with what you're doing, making the money you want to be doing, but still have that time to enjoy life is so critical. So,
well, I do know when I started, I was like, how do people possibly do this with answering the phone, doing all the paperwork? I equated it to a business person, like a doctor. They don't answer the phone, run the insurance, take the blood pressure, diagnose the patients. It's like you got to have somebody that's really good at what they do. And that's what I did. I hired people that were super good and efficient in all the aspects. So they make me look good. And luckily they're all young. So they're all high tech. So when the computer world came in and took over, we were, skyrocketing, and we were way ahead of the curve, because a lot of the people in my age group just were afraid of it and not comfortable with it. And, they were really like, just not sure how to handle it. So having people work with me worked out good. And when the market crashed, back when it was really bad, I had a lot of first-time homebuyer college-age girls. And of course, when my daughter from Texas called and said, oh, my friend wants to sell her house, will you give me a referral? Well, she's an agent too. And I said, sure. And then ding, the light bulb went on, and I went, wait a minute, all these college, high school friends, all these people, of all 5 of my team members, there's a good, amount of business. And that really helped us survive. So we're very client oriented. We really keep in touch with our clients. I would say one of the best things I've ever done, and it was from advice from my sister who's in real estate, was just to set up a appreciation party with clients, thank them, stay in touch. So we have events all year round. We do Easter events, we do summer events, we do a client party every year, we have entertainment. So they're hearing from me year round. And what that does, kind of like this virus, everybody's going to at least tell 2 or 3 people. They usually say they taste 7 people if they're not happy. But if you could get everybody to refer you to a couple, it really blossoms. Our COI is well over 4,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Just continually know my name. If they pick up the phone or call us, we know who they are. They somebody sent us. So
yeah, that sphere of influence is huge. So you kind of touched on this a little earlier. So I want to ask you now, though, what do you think's been, looking at over the genesis of your career, what do you think you spent like the most amount of time on that just didn't produce any results? Or like, what's been the biggest mistake that you've done over the years?
I would say that I really got kind of sucked into the online buy leads kind of thing with all the that, but after years of that and going back and evaluating it, I still was way ahead of the curve with referral business, and this other online business was not getting me anywhere near what I was putting out for it. So I basically got a light bulb came on and said, do what you do well, interact with people, network with people. And when people know you, that's a really strong way where they're not going to interview 5 people and pick one. Your chances of getting that one are way harder than it is to just, Jim told me to give you a call. He had such a good experience, that kind of thing. So nothing is better than a personal referral, and especially when people can actually give examples of why they liked you. So I think that's our best tool, and we use it now. But I did fall prey to all those, and they're still calling us 10 times a week on, oh, you want to buy these ads? Oh, we could set you up with clients, all that kind of stuff. So that would be my biggest waste of money, I would say.
Sure. Yeah, I hear that. I think the internet leads they require tremendous follow-up, and you have to stay on top of them so hard. And it's nowadays, though, people don't want to be sold, right? So that when you have that referral, the quality of that there's so much more, what's the word I'm looking for? You're already coming with validation when you get that referral, whereas you're tapping a cold lead on Facebook. They don't know you or anything about you, and now you're just trying to sell them, and it's not easy.
Exactly. And I think when you have people that, like, basically our clients are our friends, and so we have such a good relationship with them through the process that they are very happy to refer us. So we have, really high referrals on Zillow and all those different websites. But at the same time, when somebody calls, they know us. They know, whoever referred us. And I always ask that. And we also have a diamond club, which we actually thank the people that are. So they're on for a year every time they refer us, and we do extra nice things once a month for them. So just to let people know that we appreciate what they do. The other thing is my daughter and other team members is we work on referral networking groups for business. So they set up their own. So they have doctors, lawyers, mortgage people, one person from each industry, and they meet once a week, and they have their own little rules of what they do, but they really do hand leads to each other. And that network is another way to say, well, so-and-so that's a lawyer recommended you, or so-and-so that is a, handyman contractor. So those are really, really important to get valid referral leads.
That's interesting. So they set up like their own BNI groups, their own personal groups.
Right.
Yeah.
And they handpick who's going to go, and they have meetings at 7 a.m. on Tuesday mornings. And, they have all their structure of one-on-ones, and they kind of shadowed that concept, but they handpicked people that are, really movers and shakers in their little world.
Yeah, no, that's a great tip, actually. I like that. So let me ask you, so you've been in the business since 1997, I believe, right? 22 years almost. Yes. What do you see? So, I mean, you've seen a tremendous shift happen over that time. What do you see happening in the next 5 years that's kind of got your wheels spinning in your brain?
Well, I mean, clearly this is a big dip, and not everybody knew this was coming with the coronavirus. But overall, right now, I feel like the industry is changing. It changed a lot when we first had the crash after 9/11, adjusting to that. People would have mortgages and they took out loans and all that. But coming up in the future, I'm sure it will change every time, you turn around, things change, but we just have to be able to adapt to that. And that's kind of what I do. I spend a lot of time talking to experts in different industries to get their take on it and get a handle on how it is affecting them, because everybody kind of seems to be in their own world. But real estate's in everybody's world. So in general, we need to know what's going on and have a pulse of what's happening. But I would say, I think that there's a lot of rumor that people will do it on their own. And we've had waves of people trying to do this on their own. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the last couple of people that I had, and they had friends that tried to sell it on their own. They couldn't get it sold. And they were like, what happened? Why didn't we get ours sold? And you sold yours in 3 days. And this lady's comment was, because I listened to a professional that knows what to do. She told us exactly what to do. And we do. We really give them from A to Z. This is what you have to do to maximize your dollar. If they follow it, it works. I mean, we have a lot of experience in that. So I would say if people really want to work with professionals and really tell people what to do, because they're looking for that. In any industry, whether it's a lawyer or whether it's a doctor, with your health, you want to take their advice if you really need the help. So,
yeah, and that reminds me of the stat. I believe 83% of people that do for sale by owner eventually wind up hiring a real estate agent once they realize they're not going to get the job done.
Exactly. And we find that too. It's like they really listen to us the second time around. But I've walked away from when people are all about the commission or all about, way too high of a price. And actually over the time, the market has changed such that you used to price it a little bit high to have wiggle room. Well, now it's like you have to price it precise so that you get the hits in the computer, and then you drive multiple offers. And then you can get over asking, but you don't want to start high, or you're sitting there waiting, and then you have days on market. I literally had some of these young agents who are not experienced tell me that my house was on 20 days and they want to know what's wrong with it. I'm like, 20 days? You don't understand. The market used to be 3 months, and that was fast. So it's very fast right now, but it's going to shift and things will change, but we roll with that and figure it out as we go.
Right. So last question, and then I'll let you go. So we were talking about how St. Louis, your area right now, is a buyer's market, more from a seller's market, more from a lack of inventory. What do you anticipate the whole coronavirus thing? How's it going to shift in your viewpoint?
I mean, I wish I had a crystal ball, but I would say that just listening to the news, and Missouri's kind of been the end of during all the different highs and lows, we basically it's a show me state. That's our thing. And so we're like the last to do whatever. So we were the last to get really high prices and spike. And so with this coronavirus, our numbers are down low still. We're very cautious and everybody's, following the recommendations. But at this point, I think that there's going to be some people whose industries are going to get hurt from the economy. But I feel like the way that they're looking at it right now, I think Trump is a very strong businessman, and I think that's his goal, to recover and get us back on our feet. This is not a 10-year thing. This is a short-term thing in the big picture, but it feels like a lot every week that goes by, especially all the parents that are stuck in the house with all their children trying to run their businesses at the same time. It's challenging. But I would say that those that have a strong job and their business isn't really affected are fine. I mean, I sold 3 houses last weekend, a 7, a 5, and a 3, and one went out because a guy lost his job, and in 2 hours later I had 3 offers on the same house. So the market is going to be what it is, but we have to just really I'm encouraging sellers to get on. I just listed one yesterday at 2:30. She's already had 8 showings. So it's a hot market for sellers right now. You got to ride the wave while it's there. It'll shift to the buyers, and then you have a different perspective on how you advise the clients. But we basically advise both sides based on what the market is. So we read the market for them, and we let them know, if you want this house, you can't sit around and lowball and work your way up. If you want it, you have to go in with a price that's going to get it done. And these people are pricing them right. So the difference is how you price it. There's still agents that like to try a certain price. That's fine. But you might be giving up certain buyers if you play with it too much. So, but overall, it's an interesting business that changes constantly. And we really work hard to stay on top of what's happening in the trends. And, it's a wonderful people business. I love people and I love problem solving, and I have a wonderful team to work with. So it's like family.
Yeah. Awesome. So last question, Susie, what real estate professional do you highly respect that you believe could share some amazing value with my audience?
Well, the girl that started me on this was my sister, Katie. She, at the time when we both had kind of customer service jobs our whole life, and her husband bought a Coldwell Banker franchise in Fort Collins, Colorado. And at that time, she was a top agent in Colorado. Since then, she now is with, she has 30 something years in the business, but very knowledgeable. She does training for real estate agents. She's super sharp, and she's kind of been the one where things are, you wonder what to do, give her a call and say, hey, what would you do in this situation, kind of thing. But she's really sharp and really smart, and she trains a lot of people. So she'd be a good one. All
right. Awesome. Is there anything else I should have asked, or something you would love to share with the audience?
I think people think that in real estate, there's people that love the HGTV shows and they houses, but solving skills, people skills, customer service skills, and the rest of it will come. But if you treat people like you want to be treated, I think the best thing is you have to be there, give them the advice that you would give your family. And that's how we do. We treat everybody as if they were family and a relative, and that's why they keep coming back tenfold. So I would say that would be a good piece of advice. Yeah.
Thank you, Susie. How can people get in touch with you?
My website, which you have up there, is SusieOJohnson.com, and we have all ways of contacting us, or my cell, which is 314-283-7355.
All right, Susie, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I appreciate your time, and good luck with your market, and hope to see you soon.
Thanks, John. Good luck to you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.